Cookie, that first breathalyzer was inconclusive. You're going to have to take another one.
Okay, listen to me. I'm going to need a jug of beet juice, some WD-40, and...
We are on!
Could we get one of the writers in here for some more pre-show announcements? I feel like I've said some of these a couple times already.
So I realize I've forgotten my bag, and I go back into the office to get it. And there they are, all the security guards dressed up like us, shouting our catchphrases.
Penelope?
This is You Don't Know Jack 2015. I'm your host, Cookie Masterson. And hey, wipe that smile off your face. This is serious. Okay, just kidding. There will be farts and stuff. Okay, I want you two to shake hands. Harder. Harder. Everybody's got their screws. You can force another player to answer immediately by hitting your screw button. If they miss it, you win extra bonus dollars. And today's wrong answer of the game is being brought to you by
the San Francisco Otter Choir. Free concerts every Wednesday, except for mating season.
Sniff out our sponsor's wrong answer of the game and you'll end up with a great prize and serious cash. So let's make this happen.
Get ready, time for question.
To get started, Bootyful. Let's analyze one of Kim Kardashian's body parts. About what percentage of Kim Kardashian's brain is just made up of water? 10%, 40%, 80%, or 100%? Player 1. What kind of dried, shriveled up brains have you been looking at? Player 2. Kim Kardashian's brain, and everybody else's brain for that matter, is made up of about 80% water. But that other 20% is just so round and firm, I can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, Mama, gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Say it's all.
Here we have, his acting is alright. So, you know how they called Matthew McConaughey's resurgence as an actor his McConaissance? Well, if Matthew McConaughey is currently experiencing a McConaissance, then what period of his life just ended? The McCona Dark Ages, the McCona Industrial Age, the McCona Middle Ages, or the McCona Enlightenment Age? Players 1 and 2? All wrong. Here's where the money is. The Renaissance first occurred in Italy in the late 14th century, immediately following the Middle Ages. So the McConaissance would follow the McCona Middle Ages. Which is funny because most Renaissance sculptures also need to put on a damn shirt.
Dance with me, Disco 3.
Here's one for you. Brought to you by the letter U-nibrow.
It's the put the choices into order, then buzz in and see if you are right. Question.
And if you get this one right, I'll rustle up some extra moolah for you. Arrange these Sesame Street characters in order of fewest to most eyebrows. Bert, Ernie, the Count. Ernie, Bert, the Count. Bert, Ernie, the Count. The Count, Bert, Ernie, or Ernie, the Count, Bert. Player 1, watch the time. Player 2? Nuh-uh. The correct answer is, Ernie has no eyebrows at all, Bert has one long single eyebrow, and the Count has two eyebrows! And yet, none of them have ever blinked. Say hello to Duck Duck Swan. Say the cast of Duck Dynasty attends a performance of Swan Lake and thinks there are real waterfowl on stage. In their confusion, which character would they most likely shoot? Siegfried, Benno, Von Rothbart, or Odette? Player 1. Player 2. Odette is a princess who has been turned into a swan, so the Duck Dynasty crew would probably fill her full of lead. Especially if they find out she once fooled around with a lady swan in college.
5 fingers!
Here's one I like to call The Man in the Backwards Yellow Hat, and it's a dis or dat. Player 1. Looks like you've got some catching up to do. This dis or dat is all yours. I'm going to read off 7 things, and for each one you tell me if it's an alleged antic by pop star Justin Bieber, or an antic by the classic children's book character Curious George. If it's Justin Bieber, press the square button. If it's Curious George, press the circle button. Player 2. Choose your answer before Player 1, and if Player 1 gets it wrong and you get it right, that cash is yours. Alright, let's get started. Peed in a mop bucket. Broke his leg falling. Arrested for falsely reporting a fight. Empty house. Got high on ether. Went to a Brazilian brothel. Forget George, I'm curious how someone could do this badly. I think we can all agree that it's time for that little bastard to get deported. And then it's your turn, Bieber. That about does it for round 1. Remember, I'm doubling the value of each question in round 2. And keep in mind, keep an eye out for the wrong answer of the game. It's still out there. Alright, let's get back to it. Next, Dumber and Dumberer 2. So, there's Dumb and Dumber, and then there was Dumb and Dumberer, and then Dumb and Dumber 2. Makes perfect sense. Now, going back a few decades, there was The Odd Couple and The Odd Couple 2. So, if another remake of The Odd Couple used the superlative adjective, it would be called The Blank Couple. Odd, odder, oddest, or odderest. Player 2, watch the time. Players 1 and 2. Odd is the adjective, odder is the comparative adjective, and oddest is the superlative adjective. But of course, everyone who made the original Odd Couple movies is dead, which means it's the perfect time for Rob Schneider to swoop in and revitalize the franchise.
Question 7. Get up and shake your monkey bang.
Pucker up for Let It Go, Let It Go, Let It Go. At which temperature would Olaf from the movie Frozen melt and die? 30 degrees Kelvin, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, or 30 degrees Rankine? He's a snowman. Player 2, players 1 and 2. 30 degrees is below freezing in Fahrenheit and insanely below freezing in Kelvin and Rankine. But it's pretty balmy in Celsius, about the equivalent of 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And I know, blah blah blah, he could magically be saved, but I'm talking about what would happen in the real world to a talking snowman.
Follow me down to the sea.
It's time for Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
First spotted in 1879. Kangaroo, Peanuts, Albert Einstein, or Uranus? Players 1 and 2? That answer has a hole in it. Smart people choose this. Albert Einstein was first spotted in 1879, the year he was born. Probably by a midwife or something, over a century after Uranus was discovered and even longer after kangaroos and peanuts. I've heard baby Einstein cried a lot because he left behind some important equations on the uterine wall. And on its way, wine or lose. If the Washington Redskins rebranded themselves with a non-offensive red-skinned mascot, what could they be called? The Washington Chardonnays, the Washington Malbecs, the Washington Pinot Blancs, or the Washington Rieslings? Players 1 and 2? Chardonnays, Pinot Blancs, and Rieslings are all white-skinned grapes, but the Malbec grape is red. Although to a connoisseur like myself, Malbec is very offensive. Oh yes, I do say that was quite a burn. Take a stab at, I want to lick and roll all night. If Kiss singer Gene Simmons' tongue grew to the average length of an adult giraffe's, how deep into a woman's mouth could he stick it when he kissed her? About 5 inches deep, about 10 inches deep, about 20 inches deep, or about 30 inches deep? Time is short. Players 1 and 2? An adult giraffe's tongue is on average about 18 to 20 inches long. So that's about how deep into a woman's mouth a giraffe-tongued Gene Simmons could stick it. And if Gene Simmons' neck grew to the length of an adult giraffe's, he may not even need women anymore. Step right up to the jack attack when you the X button. 2,000 if you're right, but you lose 2,000 if you're wrong. And most importantly,
remember the clue.
It's gotta be a match that fits this clue. Your house is made of what? What materials are their houses made from? Good luck. Player 2 is our winner! Wow, Player 2, how does it feel to be responsible for the complete destruction of another person's self-esteem? Yeah, I know, it's pretty excellent, isn't it? Player 1, if it makes you feel any better.
You don't know Jack!
Start of game activation is live. We are on.
Cookie, no, we didn't install a urinal in the studio, so we're going to send someone in to clean.
This is You Don't Know Jack 2015. I'm your host, Cookie Masterson. And hey, wipe that smile off your face. This is serious. Okay, just kidding. There will be farts and stuff. 2 players? What happened? Did you lose your pieces to Battleship? Everyone's got a nice little screw. If you think another player is clueless, screw them and make them answer immediately. If they miss. And today's wrong answer of the game is being brought to you by
The San Francisco Otter Choir. Free concerts every Wednesday, except for mating season.
If you happen to find our sponsor's wrong answer of the game, you'll be rewarded with big prizes and cash. And so it begins.
Get ready, time for question. 1.
Kicking things off, Bootyful. Let's analyze one of Kim Kardashian's body parts. About what percentage of Kim Kardashian's brain is just made up of water? 10%, 40%, 80%, or 100%?